Good Sunday morning. I'm Phil Prazen from NBC5.
And I'm Gromer Jeffers, political writer with the Dallas Morning News.
It may be a bumpy few days at North Texas airports because of the government shutdown. The FAA has taken the rare move to reduce flights at airports across the country, including DFW and Love Field. Beginning with a 4% cut in flights on Friday, they plan to increase those cuts to 10% of all flights later this week. This is because of staffing problems. Many TSA agents are calling out sick because they have been working for more than a month without pay. Also, more confusion over federal SNAP food assistance. The Trump administration was going to tap emergency funds to pay for half of November's payments, but a federal judge ordered them to pay the entire amount. The Trump administration has appealed the decision. It may take weeks until money is actually sent to needy Texans who qualify. And then as the pressure increases, there are some signs lawmakers are aiming to end the shutdown. Friday, the Senate Republicans kept lawmakers through the weekend to negotiate. Several congressional sources tell NBC5 the House of Representatives may return to work this next week if there are signs of a deal.
All this comes as Democrats celebrate big wins in the first electoral test for President Donald Trump's second term. On Tuesday, Democrats came out on top in some major races, from the mayoral race in New York City to the governor's race in Virginia and New Jersey, and the redistricting measure in California.
We spoke with Texas Senator John Cornyn about his takeaways from that election, the ongoing shutdown, and his own race. Here's part of our conversation.
As Tip O'Neill once said, all elections are local, and I don't think what happens in New York City has anything to do with what's likely to happen in the state of Texas. And if you look at the races in New Jersey and Virginia, they had Democrats who probably couldn't win an election, certainly at the national level, given the direction of the National Democratic Party. They won in blue states. So I don't think there's a lot you can learn, frankly, from the election, other than the fact that Mayor Mamdani is now the poster child for the Democratic Party at a national level.
There's been a lot of talk about affordability in this race, though. Do the Republicans need to have a better message on the affordability issue? And if so, what would that message be, in your opinion? Well,
we talked about that at the White House with the president, and Senator Tim Scott, who heads the banking committee, which also has housing as part of his portfolio, has some suggestions about things we can do to make housing more affordable. I know this is a huge issue for people who are trying to enter the housing market for the first time, because, as we know, a lot of folks moving to our state, a lot of upward pressure on home prices. Interest rates have been high. It would help if the Federal Reserve continues to cut rates and make mortgages more affordable. But there is, I'm sure, some things we can do in that area. I'm not prepared to give you a comprehensive view right now, but yes, I think that was one message that we received loud and clear.
Let me ask you a question about the shutdown as well, because that is happening. I'm hearing whispers that there may be at least the beginnings of a conversation to end the shutdown in at least the near future. Is that a possibility?
Well, this shutdown is one of the dumbest ideas to come along in a long time. And it's not about anything other than Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader's political future. He's worried that if he does what we did 13 times, I think it was, during the Biden administration, which is pass short-term spending bills in order to finish our appropriations bills, he's worried he's going to get roasted or thrown under the bus. You pick your metaphor. And I think he's probably right, given the direction of the National Democratic Party. But we can't continue to operate like this. And so we are talking about some options, perhaps, at some point. And the fact is, even if we were to reopen on a short-term basis, if they could continue to do this over and over and over again, that obviously is not something we can tolerate. So we're discussing what those options may look like.
Do you have any concerns about some of the optics about this, especially, from the White House? I mean, here people will see headlines of them building a new golden ballroom at the same time There's literal food lines in DFW and Houston. Do you have any concerns about how that looks heading into a very important election year?
Well, there's a simple solution. Reopen the government. I've voted 14 times to do that. And in the absence of any cooperation from Democrats, we've tried to look for targeted solutions. And of course, now hopefully some of the SNAP or supplemental nutrition benefits will begin to flow. But virtually everybody who flies in an airplane has experienced delays. We've seen 3-hour delays at TSA and Houston Intercontinental Airport and elsewhere. I think more and more people are feeling this. Initially, I don't think a lot of Americans felt the government when it shut down. It didn't really directly impact them. But all federal employees have not been paid, including the folks who support us here in the Senate and the Congress. And I feel very bad for them because, unfortunately, a lot of innocent people are being hurt because of what essentially is a political temper tantrum by Senator Schumer.
Senator, the last time we spoke with you, you had one opponent, Ken Paxton, in your reelection bid. Wesley Hunt is now in the race. How do you like where you are now heading into the opening of the filing period and the March midterms?
Well, Gromer, there may be more who get in the race between now and the filing deadline. I think it's December the 8th. You would know as well than I. And so there's plenty of time for somebody else to jump in. But in terms of my own situation, it's vastly improved. We initially were down in terms of our numbers compared to the Attorney General. Now it's essentially a dead heat. I talked to the president even this morning about this race, and he's following it very closely. I hope at some point he decides to make an endorsement. If he does, then the primary is essentially over, because if I get endorsed, then neither the Attorney General nor Congressman Hunt will have a chance to win this race.
Did you ask the president for his endorsement, and did he indicate whether he would give it to you or not? What's his timeline, you think?
I've been talking to the president periodically about the race. He's following it very closely. He obviously is going to do it when he wants to do it. But as I explained to him, we can't wait. And so that's why we've been very aggressively working to get prepared for this March 3rd primary. But it would help, and I would welcome his support. I'm proud of my 99.3% voting record in support of President Trump's policies. Worked hand in glove with him on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, confirmed 3 Supreme Court nominees, and helped make his first term and now his second term a tremendous success.
All right, U.S. Representative Wesley Hunt extended a debate invite to Senator Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton, saying voters deserve to hear directly from the candidates. So far, there's no indication if that will happen, Gromer. That'd be interesting, though.
It would be. Yeah, maybe we could
send a pitch in?
Yeah, exactly.
What was interesting, though, about Senator Cornyn's interview, he said that they do need to find a pitch to voters when it comes to the affordability issue. He just quickly mentioned the Federal Reserve rates that dictate mortgages and loans and everything like that. But do they need to do more?
It's a real issue. I mean, consider that in 2024, that was the issue that President Trump was able to exploit, and it helped them get back into the White House. So if people are still feeling crunched, if still rising costs and things out of control, don't have any place to live, that will have an impact on the midterm.
And the results that if you promise you're going to bring prices down and you don't, the voters come.
Right. And remember, Phil, historically, the party that controls the White House takes losses in midterm elections, so they don't need any other issue helping that along.